So the first thing is what is an established and why is Mark paying for this product on your behalf? Specifically, an established was set up to improve the relationships between you, the real estate agent, between Mark and loan officers with home buyers. And exactly what that means is try to leverage today's technology to make the whole process much smoother for everyone. So what I'm going to do is walk you through what happens, what you see as a realtor from the system standpoint and how it works. To give you an overview, there's two essential items that the system does that you guys are just going to absolutely be in love with. The first one is that tedious form, the Arizona PQF, formerly known as the LSR. As we know, to put in an offer, it's one of those situations in which you got to have that form, and instead of trying to hunt Mark down, which he's always available, but at the same time, this system allows you to print off that form with the greatest of ease, 24/7, without ever having to make a phone call or having to shoot over an email. And how it works is Mark goes in and pre-approves the client for the maximum that he possibly can. And once that happens, you can go in there and print off that PQF form and put in whatever purchase price amount, custom tailor that purchase price to the offer that you want to make. And I'm going to show you how that works. The other thing that it does is it also helps you manage your prospects. And specifically, we're talking about people who are maybe had a distressed sale and went through a foreclosure or a short sale or a deed in lieu. And we all have many clients who've been through that process. And instead of putting them in a tickler file, our system not only keeps your face in front of them, but in addition to that, what it also does is very powerful in that it grooms these people to become homeowners again. So, for example, if they had a short sale, let's say 6 months or 2.5 years ago, for an FHA loan, we've got 6 months, in order to be able to qualify again. And that system will walk them through that, and I'm going to show you how that works as well. So what will happen is Mark will invite you, and I'm sure everybody can see my screen here. Mark will invite you. You'll be getting an email similar to this. And it's Dear Rita, the agent, Rob Ellis, in this case it would be Mark, has invited you to manage the pre-qualification process for Mr. Webb NR, his loan. And all you have to do is accept the invitation, and your screen will go to the established login screen. Okay? You just set up a password for yourself. Pick the state your license in. And enter your MLS ID. This is a basic introduction screen, which is, tells you a little bit of how the system works. Since I'm showing this, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And here is the loan down here qualification that Mark has entered for you. All you have to do is click View, and it'll show that we've got the buyer. It'll have your contact information down here, and it tells you what the maximum purchase price that the customer has been qualified for, the type of loan, an FHA loan. And let's say you want to put an offer in, but the home that you're wanting to put an offer in is listed, or you think that you can get your client under contract for $190,000 versus $200,000. All you do is go print update qualification. You put in the purchase price that you want to put the offer in for, and enter in the address. 123 Greenway, Phoenix, 85020. Now that new address is in there, and you'll see that you've got a slick little mortgage calculator. This is critical. As you know, on the PQF form, it also has what's called the maximum payments Okay? So if you find a house that maybe has a higher tax rate or higher HOA fees than what Mark has them approved for, you're going to need to enter that amount to make sure that you don't exceed the maximum payment that the person is qualified for. So you can go in here and change the real estate taxes, change the HOA dues, but we're going to leave them as they are. And all you have to do is simply save changes and go to the print page. On the prep pre-qualification, now you can see on your screen it says the address, the purchase price that you're putting in, and all you have to do is simply go to the Arizona pre-qualification form, and voila, you've got your PQF. Now at this point in time, you can go out and submit your offer. It's customized to the purchase price that you want to put in for this particular piece of property, signed by the loan officer with the customer's information, the payment, and everything's completed. Now here's the great thing. The customer can also log into the system, and Mark will invite them to the system as well, and their signature would show up on that page. You can edit this information anytime you want. Put in different purchase prices, different payments, depending on the values that correspond with that particular property, as long as you don't exceed the limit that Mark has set for the maximum purchase price and the maximum payment. So in other words, you can't put in $205,000 if they've only been approved for $200,000. Okay? So I'm going to ask, does anybody have any questions about this particular feature?
Do you have to put an address in?
Absolutely not. You can leave it as to be determined.
What do you guys think so far?
Love it.
Mark, what if somebody increased its 205 purchase price but decided to put more money down?
Good
question.
That's a great question. And as Mark will tell you, we have loan officers have to verify the down payment fund. So if they have done so with Mark, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and move on. He is going to put in the maximum purchase price that they can qualify for. What the system does from the home buyer's perspective. And again, you can always type in a question down here, and I will address it, either during the meeting or at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and log out as a realtor. And I'm going to log back in as a home buyer. And this is the customer that you as the agent and Mark have. The home buyer is going to accept the invitation to be taken to the website. Again, the system is totally free to the home buyer as well. And all they have to do is create a password, and they're logged into the system. Little basic introduction page. And it shows the loan officer, shows the real estate agent, and it shows the home buyer. And they can view their qualification information. The first thing it does is just make sure that they acknowledge the fact that we're going to be communicating online. They're going to sign their electronic agreement. And it's going to ask about communication preferences. What is the best time for them to be contacted? Would they like to be contacted on their cell? Afternoons and evenings works best. That way, Mark is aware of when the folks want to be, contacted. This page here is basic, and Mark could turn this feature on or off, but most people leave it on. And what this is the do's and don'ts during the loan process. This is critical whenever people are putting in offers on short sales. As it can take a couple months for people to get that their offer accepted. So certain things, don't apply for new credit. You would not believe how many times that can hurt a transaction. Do continue your current employment. Do call your loan officer if you have any questions, etc. These are basic things that a lot of people, forget to make sure they go over with their customer. The customer is required to acknowledge that they've read this page before they move on. And Mark has set up, a needs list, and it says, and here's the great thing about this is as soon as they get qualified. So what this is doing is it's asking for the people to prepare their pay stubs, their W-2s, get a copy of their earnest money check, their homeowner's insurance right at the very beginning of the loan process versus waiting until an offer's been accepted. Now, obviously, they can't, get a copy of their earnest money check right now, but they're going to be aware that they're going to need to be able to provide that. So instead of waiting until the very end to get Mark, the process now that the offer's been accepted, it's asking for it right up front. Give us your pay stubs, give us your W-2 so we can review your information and make sure that everything you told us, either online or over the phone is actually accurate. And they can print that form off easily and, take it around their house and gather that information. This next page is signing their pre-qualification terms. And all they're doing is acknowledging how much they've been approved for. Now that they've signed that loan terms, whenever you as an agent go in to print off that PQF form, now their signature is going to show up. Okay? So they've got all that information there. One slick tool that's available to them. They've got a loan calculator with all their information in there. They can play around, hey, what if I want to buy a bigger home? What would my payment be on that? What if I found out my homeowner's insurance is going to be a little bit less or a little bit more? The real estate tax from this property a little bit less, a little bit more. And they can calculate their payments so they know exactly where they're at as far as their monthly payments concerned. The great thing is their mortgage insurance is in here and it's being calculated for them. So, for example, if they change their purchase price down to $190,000, you'll see that their mortgage insurance premium has reduced. So they know exactly where they stand in context of what happens if I put in a little bit less or a little bit more offer, and what does that do to my payment. So that's what you're seeing from the loan office perspective. I'm going to go ahead and log out from the home buyer's perspective. I'm going to go ahead and log out, jump online here and ask if you have does anybody have any questions in regards to what the home buyer sees? Well, that is, the basics of what you see and what the home buyer sees concerning the pre-qualification process, printing up that PQF. I'm going to go ahead and log in as the loan officer again. I'm going to go into that particular customer. And I'm going to put in here that the offer's been accepted. And the seller's name, the close of escrow date, let's say it's next month. I'm going to accept. Now that that's been in there, now we have access to the LSU. And Mark and his team can update the loan status update report, which you need. Per the new contract, as everybody knows, you're supposed to be supplying the seller with an LSU within 5 days of a contract being accepted. So Mark and his team go through here and indicate, yes, we did get the credit, the contract, we supplied them with the good faith, we've received the application, all the fields associated with the LSU. And the loan officer has to initial it because the initials show up on that loan status update form. Now here's what's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and log out as the loan officer. And I'm going to log back in as the real estate agent. Now, when I go into this Mr. Webinar's loan pre-qualification, I can now print off the LSU anytime I like. And and I know that Mark and his team will keep the LSU updated, you can go in here easily and have the LSU at your fingertips without ever having to make a phone call or shooting off an email. And the great thing is as the process goes, this can be updated anytime that Mark and his team update the LSU. The form is updated, and you can pull off a recent LSU at any time you'd like. And you'll notice here are the fields that I checked yes, and the date that they were completed. And LSU is at your fingertips 24/7, like I said, without ever having to make a phone call or an email. Does anybody have any questions about that particular feature?
Do we know if the electronic signatures are acceptable for the REO companies who are requiring no electronic signatures?
You know what? That's a great question. I'm going to mute everybody, and I'll jump back in since there's a lot of background noise. You have the option right here to leave the box unchecked. So instead of that form printing up with the electronic signatures, by the way, 95% of all sellers, whether that be banks or short sale situations, do accept the electronic signature. But if you run across one that does not, you can print this form off without the signature showing up and simply have your buyer sign it right down here. So did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
I've only had one Freddie Mac bank reject the electronic signature. What they did was they accepted the offer and then had me handwrite a wet signature on a new one after the contract was accepted. Speed is of the essence. As you know, getting these contracts in within minutes makes the difference these days, and being able to do that is, with this system, it helps us get more buyers into more homes.
Okay, everybody, I want to go ahead and go back to the dashboard real quick. This is some additional features that I'm not going to get into great depth right now, but if you want, you can manage your account settings right here and type in what your commission amount usually is, for example, 3%. And every single loan that you have going with Mark, it will track what your pending commission is for you. So it's a real slick tool. So I'm going to go ahead and now show you what this does for your leads. And what I mean by that is your prospects, because this system not only manages your current loans, but it also will help you manage your prospects, your database, your past clients, all of that. And Mark has been generous enough. This portion of the system is not free. Everything that you've seen so far has been. So this portion of it is, Mark has been generous enough to offer to everybody on the call today, and you're going to love this. This is going to help you with past clients, people that can't buy, that type of thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new lead. These are people who are currently not in the process of buying. So let's say you run across somebody who, in Maricopa County, believe it or not, has had a short sale or a foreclosure, which if you've been in the business for any period of time, that's going to happen. What you or Mark can do is you can just click that they had a short sale, that they'd like an FHA loan, and you could simply type in the date that the short sale took place. I'm going to put in here that it took place just a little bit over 2 years ago. And I'm going to create that lead, and I'm going to invite Susan to the system. Now, this is you as the agent putting this information in here. Mark can do this as well. So I'm going to log out and show you what happens here. You'll see that you as the agent, that invitation has already been sent. By the way, since I'm on this page, let me show you something else real quickly. You'll notice that everything that's happened so far, you're getting emails on as far as what's taken place. The LSU has been updated. The LSU has been signed. So-and-so has signed. The buyer has signed the terms. So the system will keep you in touch with everything that's going on. So you as the agent, your branding information will show up here. You can put your Facebook, your blog information, whatever you want in here, contact information, and then click to accept the invitation. And all I have to do is put in my password, create a new password, create my account, and a little introductory screen, and now I view my loan eligibility. And the system automatically calculates for the people when they can buy a home. So, in addition to this, what's going to happen is every month when the person is eligible for less than a year, they're going to be getting an email from you indicating for whatever reason that you're putting them in the system, if it's credit related, if it's a down payment issue, they're going to be getting emails specific to the reason that they are looking to qualify to buy a house. And they'll know exactly when they can purchase a property. And you guys, what's your initial opinion of this feature?
I think they're in shock. I can't hear anything.
I think it's great. It's going to show a lot of it, give them hope again.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. You'll notice two resources.
Sorry, what was that?
Yep.
Did someone have a question?
Okay, so you'll notice on here, there's all these resources. So let's say somebody's having trouble with their credit, or maybe they're having trouble with saving enough down payment. We've got a blog running that has all kinds of articles that specifically address the reason that they're having issues. So down payment tips, here's the benefit of a down payment savings account, converting an asset to a down payment. How can you use retirement? Is that allowed? What are gift funds all about? So they can go in here and learn what it takes to become a homeowner. Now the good news is this works for your past clients too, but instead of them having an eligibility loan, this clock would not be set. Instead, they'd be getting emails from you on a monthly basis that are not your typical standard database stuff. They are specific to real estate. So for example, we have articles such as, what are the benefits of becoming a real estate investor? Or what is a streamlined loan? Can I save some monthly payments and possibly help me buy another piece of property? Okay? They're not going to be getting Aunt May's pumpkin pie recipes, put it that way.
And one of the features that we're adding as well, Rob, for agents out there listening to the call is the ability to see what clients we're working for you with and the commissions and the number of clients you have in March, in April, someone that's coming in August that we're incubating for you that you may have forgotten about that we've been working on for 2 years. So it's kind of like a forecaster. Every time you log in, you see what we're still working for you and your future earnings and future client referrals. It's very powerful. Exactly.
That screen is right here, Lead Incubator. So you can put your entire database in here, and you can put in here this is when the person's going to qualify. This is when it'll tell you based again if you put your commission in here, what is the value of your leads. You could put in times as far as I need to contact this person. The system will remind you to do that.
But Rob, if they give us the client, as we are doing that for them, correct?
You can do it either way. Right. The realtors, agents, you could feel free to put the people in your system, or you can provide a database to Mark, and we can get these into the system for you and make it as easy on you as possible. It looks like Lisa's asking, do you have any verbiage for listings? I want to put this in my listings. And that's a great question. And, it looks like Mark, he said, yeah, absolutely. You guys can totally brag about this. You can advertise. I will get an offer in before anybody else. I've got a system I use. Leverage this system all you want and help it create more business for you. Okay. Just want to inquire, is there any more questions? If rates were to change in either direction on the approval max adjusted on the LSR? That's a good question. Now, typically what Mark's going to do, and most loan officers will do, Raphael, is they're going to enter a little bit higher rate than what that person may be able to qualify for, just to give us padding, give him padding in case the rates do move. So, but to answer your question, you can easily, as a loan officer, go in here. One of Mark or person on his team would go in and simply update the LSR to reflect whatever rates have done. And hopefully we don't see a huge spike, but let's face it, at some point in time they will rise. And it's very simple for the loan officer to go in there and adjust the interest rate to whatever they may be that day. How do we get on to the system? Log on to, that's great. What I'm going to do after we get done today is Mark and I are going to send out anybody who wants to be invited on the system. Mark will go in and get you invited today. And all you have to do is get in and create an account. It's very simple. And we'll make sure that everybody who wants to be on here will be able to get on here. Great comment, Raphael. I wish I had this back then. You know, what predicated all this, everybody, was the fact that the PQF and the LSU are just so cumbersome, and it's such a hard system to use. You know, as far as getting those forms out to you in a quickly fashion, and this totally alleviates that at this point in time. Well, I appreciate everybody coming on board today. I'm going to unmute everybody. Mark, do you have any final comments?
No. I mean, I think everyone on the call can see where almost $250,000 worth of technology has gone into making agents' lives easier, and I just want to communicate to everybody on the call, this wasn't meant to make my weekends easier and not me be able to be lazy and sit and watch football on the couch and not be running around doing LSRs. It was meant to make lives better for the buyers and for you guys so that you could always be reactive to any market change. And the incubation part is the most important for me. We have over 200 people in the incubator that we bring back to our agents, you know, 2 years down the road. And to be able to have that so that everyone could watch it and monitor it themselves is so important. So I appreciate everyone being on the call today. We had some tech difficulties. Not everyone got on. I'm glad you guys got on. We'll send the video out. We'll send the links out, and just stay tuned because this is the start of even more tech we're going to bring to you.